Hello and welcome to Daytona. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53 and I've partnered with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports for this week's Learn to Drive video for Daytona as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 2 Week 10 official series action for the ARCA Tour. If you can, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'm kind of a short track racer here in Wisconsin. My car is parked for the summer unless we can find some more sponsorship to get us back out and going. But let's get going here around the track. We're going to have a couple minutes to talk while we're doing that. So we're going to pull out on track, get up through the gears. I ride third gear all the way to the blue cone. It just kind of seems to work the best for me as we get up through the gears. But if you guys are looking to upgrade your sim racing equipment, head over to my friends at Impel Motorsports, impelmotorsports.com. They have a bunch of Moza products as well as next level sim rigs. They're a great supporter of mine. You guys have sold them out of a lot of Moza stuff the last couple months, so hoping we can keep this trend alive here in the month of May. And then we have a new partner with Overdrive Race Fuels and Lubricants. They're an independent AMSOIL representative. So anytime you guys use the link down in the description below, we get paid because they get paid. So that's a huge help for us. We sell enough AMSOIL stuff, maybe I can get back on track. So make sure you use that link down below, help support the channel as well. And if you have a small business, you're looking to improve your digital footprint, our friends at Precision Pair Marketing, they offer SEO and digital marketing services for small businesses. Um, Head over to their website, precisionpair.com, sign up, hit the contact form, and one of their people will be in touch with you. But as we go here, ARCA at Daytona, you can see I'm just kind of rocking the high line. Nothing particularly fancy here for lap 1, as well as on the out lap. When we get ready here to go to lap 2, what we're going to do is we're going to shift from being on the top of the track all the way down to the bottom here. I'm just kind of fast forwarding because it's taking even longer than the sponsor reads could go. So now you can see here, I'm going to cross over here at the start, or here for the tri-oval, and get this car down as low as I can possibly go. When I'm sitting in the cockpit, it looks like I'm down here on this yellow line, so I could maybe move down a little bit more, but I always like to give myself just a little bit of room, and I don't feel like it really hurts my lap times that much, just so that way I'm not accidentally hitting this apron. One other thing that I like to do too is I'll go into my garage here. I'm at a 10-to-1 steering ratio. You guys that are new, you may find it better to go to a 12-to-1 just because then every little movement that you make inside the car, you're going to have less tire wear. You'll have less tire movement within the car. Keep in mind with a 10-to-1, every 10 degrees of steering wheel rotation is 1 degree of tire rotation. So if you go to a 12-to-1, you got to move your steering wheel another 2 more degrees before you catch any type of tire rotation. A +4 offset, I just don't like to have my steering wheel to the right so far. And then I left my brake bias at 65%. It's not really going to matter for you guys. You're not really going to be using brakes. The only thing that you'll use brakes for here is if you were to need to make a green flag pit stop, but with it only being a 20-lap race, the only time you're pitting is if you have damage. But what you would typically do is set that brake bias to the lowest number without the car stepping out underneath you when you're slowing down to come for green flag pit stops. So it should be pretty straightforward here. But qualifying lap now, we're just going to be right here along the bottom of the track. I drift up a little bit here, but there's like this little seam that runs down the track. You can kind of see it. It's like a little line in the pavement. And what I try and do is just keep my right sides right on that. When I'm inside the car in the cockpit, it's just kind of like keep that left side kind of covered to where it's the black line in the middle. It's kind of where I try and aim for. So then as we get to the corner, we bring it down. I try and get this left side on my car to be kind of right in line with that. And these corners take so long that it's easy to kind of see that and feel that. I drifted up there a little bit. Oop, this was not the lap that I wanted. Here's the lap that we want. So here's what we'll do. We'll run through here. You can see here, just like I was saying, it drifts up a little bit. Then we're going to drop it back down here into this corner, and you can see here, just like with the other video before I pulled up, it's right there. It must have moved when I went into the garage. But we're just kind of holding the bottom here, kind of keeping it right in line, trying to keep my steering wheel as straight as possible, right? Every time you're moving that steering wheel in this car, that speed being scrubbed off. So you really have to keep it held fairly consistent. I like to kind of keep it low coming off the corner. I'll drop down to where it looks like I'm right on this yellow line here through the corner. So you can see visually inside the cockpit for me this is where kind of where the hood line is, tells me that I'm right to the bottom. So in the corners, I'll drift up just a little bit because the banking devariance will scrub speed. But here on the straightaway, you can get a little bit lower, and if you catch over onto the apron, it's not going to hurt you as much. We head here into 3. You can see it drifts up a little bit, but I'm trying to keep this black line right in line with the hood. And that's really going to be key for me, and that's what it looks like. I mean, inside the car, it's not necessarily the closest. Do we have a rear chase view with this? I have some special cameras here, so it might have been pulled, but just nice and tight here with the line. Hold that wheel as straight as possible. Let her drift up a little bit. Now, there's two schools of thought. Some guys like, as they're coming through the tri-oval, to drop down onto the apron and drive down there. I, for this video, just stayed up, but you might want to play with that as the week goes on, dropping down here through the Geico restart zone to see if you can get it to play there. But that's pretty much the lap around Daytona. I can give you guys a lap inside the car if you want, but it's just going to be a pretty long, boring lap. Um, but let's get a rewound, and we'll give you a lap inside the cockpit of the car. And there is our lap inside the car, 51,242. And like I said, so now when we're looking here at race trim, right, the big thing that you're going to want to make sure is the draft. And I get a lot of questions about this, right? The draft in iRacing, particularly at Daytona and Talladega, the bottom is really king. So typically you try and keep your car in the bottom lane when you can. If the top lane has a really good run, you'll see guys move up, and then the second guy in line will usually just plow right into the back of them. Same thing on the bottom, guys don't like to lift. And the big misconception here is with the draft, you really do want to lift a little bit or try and drag a little bit of brake into them so that the two of you meet and you're going about the same speed and you're just able to catch and go. Whereas if you just drive and you plow right into the back of someone, right, and you have like, 5-10 mile an hour variant, 5 mile an hour variance in speed, it's going to make this front lead car get really, really loose, and it'll like almost slow your momentum down over the run. So if you can glide into them, it usually does a little bit better. The other big thing is when you're drafting, is to watch your temperatures. Now, it used to be in iRacing way back in the day that if you kept your car tilted off to the left a little bit, that took care of your water temp. And if you drifted off to the right, it took care of your oil temp when you were following someone. I'm not sure if it's still that same way, but we'll definitely try and get an update with the ARCA car and see if that ends up being the case, probably for next season's video. But just kind of keep that in mind that when you're following someone, take a look and see what drifting off to the left and just being a little offset from them does in terms of tire temp or in terms of temperatures, and then drifting off to the right and see. And a big thing that a lot of people don't know is when you go in here, I have this dash, right? This digital dash, and that is set in iRacing. I believe it's just D on your keyboard. If you hit that, it'll turn on your digital dash. So you can see here, I see what my oil temp is, I see what my water temp is. So if I need to clear, if I see this is blinking red, right, and I need to cool my oil temp off, it's good to know which way you need to pull your car to cool that oil temp off. And you can do that just by looking early in a run and seeing where that temperature cools off for you. And that's kind of a big deal with drafting, and I think it's something that really gets overlooked in iRacing is the offset, and how to do that, and where and how and when it's applicable to you. So Hopefully you guys found some help in this video. If you like this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Head over to team53racing.com. This is a terrible week to get my telemetry pack for ARCA cars, but we also offer it for C Fixed. We offer it for all the short track cars as well as setups. So we'll see you guys in the next video.